started. I'm sitting in a little pavilion here, and you can hear the train bell in the background, and there's a railroad yard to my left over here, and this is the area we're going to be talking about. But I wanted to thank everybody for watching my channel, being part of my Facebook group. I really appreciate it. For those of you that are new, I've been doing this for about 6 years now. I'm 74 years old, and what you see is what you get. That's right, I don't proclaim to be some kind of an actor, and I don't proclaim to be an expert with a camera. The camera is a Lumix. It's my wife's that I confiscated 6 years ago, and bless her heart, she's let me use it. So that's what I make these videos with. And my computer at home is a PC, and it's a Windows 7, so that's what I make do with. So welcome to the channel if you're new. Last week when I was here, we talked about the Midland going through Wabasha as it was crossing over where the Milwaukee Road was. We followed it from the river up to this park that we're in today. And we're going to get started now and talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Road. I think we'll be listening to this all day because they're working here. They're building a train or taking one apart. I'm not sure which, but anyway, we're going to go back to for a moment, we're going to go back to 1869. 1869 is when the Milwaukee and St. Paul are building this railroad down here. That's your Milwaukee Road, and they're building the railroad from St. Paul, and they're in Cottage Grove, and then they make it to Hastings in 1869. Then from Hastings they build it to Red Wing in 1870, and it reaches Red Wing. Then we got a little bit of a hang up because we've got the Colville Railroad War involved here in 1871, but they get past that and they get into Lake City in 1871 and start heading to Wabasha. So they are here 6 or 7 years before the Midland's even built, and then it goes down the river, and they keep building until they get this connected to La Crosse. And when they first came across the Mississippi River in Hastings, excuse me, they had a ferry there that would ferry the people would get off the train if they were passengers, and then they would be ferried to the other side of the river, and then they'd hop on another train and take again. And that went on in 1870 until late 1871. They finally got a bridge built there, and that's when they built the one over the Mississippi in La Crosse. So now we are at Wabasha. Okay, and this is Brugger Memorial Park. So we're going to talk about the things that were in this area. So I'm going to walk over and get set up to give you a look. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put up a map of Wabasha today so you can see where I'm at. And then I'm going to put up another photo that was probably taken from a bluff west of town, because it's like an aerial photo, and I will try and date that photo a little bit. That photo is going to show the first depot that was made here in Wabasha, and that's probably about where you see that red and white building over there is where that depot was. Then right about over in this area here, you're going to see a freight house. Kind of looks like a long depot. That's the freight house. And The 1905 depot isn't built yet, but that's down about where you see that silver building right down there with the antenna. Then you're going to see the roundhouse. That's right over there. That brown building with all the white doors is the roundhouse. And that was built in 1886. So because I see that building from 1886 in the photo, but I don't see the depot that was built over here by that silver little building that was built in 1905, I placed this photo as being taken between 1886 and 1905 sometime. Also in this photo, you're going to see this building that's right out in front of me. Just to the right here, you see a tree. My truck's parked over there, big red, and that building is also in this photo. So just to kind of get orientated on where we're at, I'm going to put that photo up next so you can see what I'm seeing that's here today. So I walked on the other side of the tracks. There's some bluffs out that way. There's some more over here. You can't see them because of the house off in the distance. But I think that's where these photos were taken from, unless there was some buildings back here that we didn't know of and someone was, you know, on a second or third floor. Because it was definitely an aerial photo. So here's where we are. There's that railroad I'm talking about, and I'm standing next to a tree line here. So we got private property and railroad property, and I'm not going to be able to walk down the railroad property. And I don't have permission from the landowner, so I'm going to stay here right by the street. Okay, so that's where our depot was, right there. Down to the left is where that freight house was. I'll put that picture up one more time so you can see that. This is what it would have looked like from this side, only I'm on the ground instead of the air. Okay, I am back in the park again, and it's 1905. Yeah, 1905. Oh, a little after 11 o'clock at night. I don't know, 11:40, something like that. There's a gas tank that explodes in the depot. I'm not sure, maybe they used it for stoves, gas tank, but it explodes. The fellow that runs the depot, he's not there, he's on his lunch break. You know, well, second shift, third shift. And there's a fire, breaks out. And it's a terrible fire. 7 people lose their lives in this fire. And it's burnt to the ground. They just can't save it. And afterwards, you read the newspapers, there's a pretty good story about a fellow that was seen sleeping on the grass here by the depot. And they say they thought he was a tramp. And, you know, people didn't think much about tramps back then. But, yeah, he wound up going into the depot and he saved a couple of people's lives. He was credited as being a hero in the paper. So that's kind of a cool story. Can use that in today's life. Can't judge anybody by the way they look. That's right. Judge them by their deeds. Yeah, so I thought that was a really cool story. So I'm going to put that article up now, and you can read that if you like. Really is a good story. It's just too bad that lives were lost. And one of them was the proprietress of the hotel and her baby. and they were perished in the fire also. So there is a sad part to this. So I'll put this up now.
I don't think so. No, 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 no. I don't think so. No, 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 no. It's never, ever, 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 ever gonna happen.
Okay, this photo here, this is another aerial photo. It says, I've moved, you can see the bluffs over here. There's one over here now. Maybe the photos were taken from that bluff. But there's no way for me to get up there to take pictures from the other side up there. So we have to look at it from this side. So I'm gonna put up that very first picture that shows the depot, and it shows the freight house built, and then it shows the roundhouse, and it shows what was once known as a boarding house in it. And the thing I'm looking at is the freight house, okay? The freight house is here in that photo, but it is gone in the next photo I'll put up. So now that raises a question, where is the freight house? I think it was maybe moved. They moved the freight house and then they built the second depot. And that freight house was known as a depot, but I don't think it was ever really a depot. It was just for freight only. And if I am wrong, correct me, because I always want to be corrected. I'm only as good as my sources are. That's right. So this is where the depot was, the one that was built in 1905. There's our roundhouse. Now I'm going to try and line this up now. This roundhouse goes back to 1886. And I have a photo of the turntable here too. So let me get this situated. I want to say this is probably real close to the angle in that photo. Okay, right there, notice the guys on the roundhouse. This is an awesome photo, just awesome. Right there. I know I've seen another photo. In fact, I know I have it. So if I can find it, I'm gonna plug it in. And do you see that end of the roundhouse? It's actually taken from over there, over in that area on the railroad tracks, but I can't go onto the railroad tracks, you know. That's kind of stupid trying to think you can do that, but just remember that this photo was taken from another angle, showing you the end of that roundhouse. Okay, the old depot, going back to like 1872 or so. The roundhouse is in the photo. There's my wife. She's with me today. There's the roundhouse. Okay. That other old building that was in that photo is that they say was a boarding house. It's now apartments. There it is right there. I was going to drop my wife off at some places, but they seem to be all closed on Wednesday. What are you going to do, right? But she brought her knitting? Yes. She has her knitting with, so she's staying busy. So I'm going to put up some more articles of things that happened at the Milwaukee Road. There's even some gunshots being fired down at the depot. Anybody know anything about that? Yeah, and there was a boy here that was sent to go someplace. He doesn't have any money or anything. He's just put on a train with a pin on where he was going to go. Yeah, all kinds of things. I'll put those articles up now. I hope you'll enjoy them.
Really see the old architecture.
Now we're on our way into town, and I wanted to drive around, see if I could get the back side of that roundhouse, and I can see it. I want you to check this out because there's a lot of it that's covered on the front side, but all your ends and everything would have been this brick. Look at how pretty that is. Is that cool or what? 1886, guys. That is awesome. See all the brickwork? I mean, arched windows. Everything was so fancy back then. That's cool. So I had to drive around for another view. That's a private drive there. And there's a sign, keep out from this point. And I'm just going to show you. I came up this road here and just pulled in here for a minute so I could get this roundhouse from the back side. Once again, note this brickwork, will you? And I'll bet that structure that's metal there, I'll bet that was wood and has been covered in metal. And my wife just made a comment, I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the ripples and defects in the glass going back to 1886. It's so cool. It's a double door there, was a window up above it. See the tar line on the building? Must have been another building attached to that for an entryway. It just keeps going around that way. Aren't you glad I drove back here? I know I am. This is so cool. this map of Ireland because this one here has got some Irish blood in her. So where did they come from?
Right here. County Armagh. That's,
County Armagh.
yeah, that's where these people came from.
Cool. Well, I bought my honey lunch. Yeah, and she's showing me on this Ireland map where some of her family came from. This is an Irish place. But you know what? They have some batter fried mushrooms. I mean, they're really batter fried.
And onion rings.
And onion rings, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
really good.
When I'd go up to take care of my dad, there was a place in Chassell, Michigan in the UP. And Iron Horse was the name of the place, and they had batter fried mushrooms. And this place here tops it, and I don't know how they could because those were out of this world. So if you like batter fried mushrooms, I mean really batter fried mushrooms.
And onion rings.
And this is the place, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to say God bless you all, and whether you watch it or not, that's right. So I'll catch you on my next one. You guys all take care now.